Greetings, everyone. My name is Bradley, and I'll be your CPR instructor today. Uh, Today, we're going to go over child CPR. Now, what's considered a child would be 1 to 12. So we're going to go over child CPR today. So the first thing we need to go over is what we call your emergency action steps. Now, your emergency action steps are going to be 3 C's. And those 3 C's stand for check, call, and care. In that order. Check, call, care. Now, what you're doing is you're checking your scene for safety. You got to make sure there's nothing around that can hurt or can harm you, such as power lines down, perhaps somebody hurt this person, wild animal in the area. I got to make sure it's safe to approach this child. Once I have determined that the scene is safe, I'm going to tap the child on the shoulder. Hey, are you okay? Are you all right? If this child does not respond, identify someone. This is your second C, the call step. Identify someone and have them call 911, such as, hey, you in the blue shirt, can you go call 911? This child is unconscious. Okay, let's ponder on the call step for a minute. If you are by yourself and no one else is around, you have a cell phone, go ahead and use your cell phone to call 911. If you are by yourself and no one else is around, for the infant, you want to give 2 minutes worth of care before you call 911. But the adult and the child, you want to call 911 first before you give care. All right, so now we are at our third C, which is our care step. Now, when we get to our care step, we got to talk about opening the airway. When a person goes unconscious, the tongue can roll back, blocking the airway. So if we take 2 fingers, put under the bony part of the chin, 1 on the forehead, and lift up, that opens the airway, causing the tongue to roll forward. Now we check for signs of life for 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, we're doing what is called look, listen, and feel for movement. We're trying to see if we have life on this child. So your ear is over the mouth, so you're feeling for breathing, you're listening for breaths. Your eyes should be looking at this chest cavity to see if it's rising and falling. And you're observing to see if you see any movement or anything to tell you that this child is alive. If there are no signs of life, the next thing would be to check for a pulse. We check for a pulse on a child in the groove of the neck. This here is your carotid artery, and you'll be checking that pulse for 10 seconds. Now, if you find a pulse on this child, we do what is called rescue breathing. Now, in rescue breathing for a child, we give 1 breath every 3 seconds for 2 minutes. That's 1 breath every 3 seconds for 2 minutes. So let me demonstrate. I found the pulse on this child, so I'm going to begin rescue breathing. Pinch the nose shut, make a seal around the mouth with your mouth, give the first breath, release the nose, and count to 3. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Breath. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Breath. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Breath. Now let's say that's been about 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, I'm going to recheck for the pulse. As long as there is a pulse after every 2 minutes, I would continue rescue breathing. No pulse, then I must start CPR. For a child, we always use 1 hand to do the compressions. How deep you'll be compressing will be about 2 inches deep. So let me demonstrate on the child. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Open the airway, pinch the nose shut. Give your first breath, release the nose, take a breath. Go back down, give the breath, release the nose, come up, take a breath, and go right back to compressions. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. All right, open the airway, pinch the nose shut. Give your first breath, release the nose, take a breath. Go back down, Do the same thing, okay? Now, let's review. So, in CPR, we do what is called 30 and 2. 30 and 2, that consists of 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths. You are doing CPR. In CPR, we do what is called CAB. It spells CAB. That stands for circulation, airway, and breathing. So in other words, you would start with the 30 compressions, then you would open the airway and administer the 2 breaths. In CPR, the only time in which you would stop CPR would be number 1, EMS comes to relieve you. Number 2, the person revives or gains consciousness. And number 3, an AED shows up on the scene because you have to stop CPR in order to hook the AED up. So those would be the only times in which you would stop CPR. Other than that, you would just continue doing CPR. Now, when you go to give your CPR breaths, we give 1 breath per second for 2 breaths. The rule of thumb is give a breath, take a breath. Give a breath, take a breath. All right, my name is Bradley, and I was your CPR instructor today, and thank you for watching.